Welcome, dear one. I'm about to share an ancient story with you, for now is the time for it to be shared. This is the story of guaranteed unnatural evolution, according to the creator of the universal matrix. This story begins 23 universes away and begins as a journey of love. Please allow me to elaborate what is meant by universe away. Existence is an infinite fractal. No matter what scale it is observed from, it looks the same. And the word infinity does not even come close to describing the magnitude of existence. And so all this spawns from the source of all things, the primary creator. And in each branch of the fractal of existence, a shard from source exists that continues the infinite journey of creation up and down the scale. So, a very long time before this moment, there existed a prime creator that was beautiful and gentle in nature. And this prime creator made worlds with beautiful soft environments, covered with flowers and trees, waterfalls and lakes and oceans, soft, gentle breezes, moderate temperature, moderate radiation, moderate gravity. And so the beings that evolved on these beautiful worlds were tall, slender, and graceful. They lived in harmony with their surrounding nature. They lived incredibly long and prosperous lives. They created beautiful offspring and took upon themselves the role of custodianship and guardianship of their garden. For each was assigned a vast, profoundly beautiful territory. And so this was the result of natural evolution in these worlds. And yet, these beautiful life forms were incredibly fragile. And so through the introduction of the slightest deviation in radiation, climatic conditions, or the introduction of disease or invasion, they would be wiped out almost instantaneously, leaving the prime creator of those worlds in anguish. How can this be? How can this be? And so this prime creator sent out a message to all existence, calling forth assistance and guidance to resolve this problem. And so many other prime creators, shards of the source of all sources, responded to this call, each presenting their own unique solution. None seemed to be satisfactory. And right at the point where it seemed that all hope was lost, an unknown prime creator being from a very distant universe entered the picture and provided a solution to the vulnerability of natural creation. This prime creator was a master of generating guardian crystals. These are the forms that facilitate the existence of life in each planet that hosts life. These crystals facilitate the evolution and the correct development of organisms living on these planets. Without this, life would die out immediately. and evolution would be blind. And so this particular creator being had mastered technology in lower dimensions of existence, domains where other prime creator beings did not venture, as they saw this beneath themselves. For their way of manifestation of reality is through the primordial void, primordial sound fields, and primordial light fields, allowing reality to trickle into existence, one dimension at a time, finally reaching physicality. And unlike the others, this prime creator being was willing to intervene directly in the process of evolution. And so this solution was accepted with great excitement. The prime creator who had accepted the challenge realized the immensity of the undertaking. And so he found a suitable world and began the process of constructing boundaries upon the beings, greatly modifying and accelerating their natural lifespan, and very carefully and diligently recording the results of each level of experimentation. And so this continued without cease until the natural end of this particular universe arrived. For the birth and death of universes is like the process of breathing. They are born, they are infant, they are young, they are old, and then they go into non-existence for the next breath to occur, which is the creation of a new fractal of existence. And so, at the end and conclusion of the natural lifespan of this universe, 23 universes away, the prime creator that had created the guaranteed unnatural evolution as an experiment and a process, decided to continue for the beings and the vessels that resulted from this environment were resilient beyond anything that comes from natural evolution. This process continued, universe after universe. More technology was developed. More life forms were entered into the mix. And the resilience of the organisms created by this process increased greatly. And so many prime creators became loyal customers of this other prime creator, entering the blueprints of the life that they had created, requesting it to become as resilient as possible, no matter what it takes, no matter what the cost. And so, universe after universe, the ability and mastery of the creator of the matrix, for that is what it is known by these days, increased. Finally, at the birth of this universe, the prime creator of the matrix of guaranteed unnatural evolution entered right at the beginning, searching for a world among the stars that was most conducive to the continuation of the creation of the absolute most resilient and capable vessel. And it was the planet Earth that was discovered. For Earth is no natural planet. It is the host of another prime creator being, the giver of life, the mother of all that she graciously hosts. And so the creator of the matrix greatly enhanced the capability of the planet by gifting her many additional guardian crystals implanted all over the surface and at the depths of the ocean and in the depths of her crust, creating a powerful energetic grid. So all that could not be achieved through computational means and data mining, all the blanks in the design could be organically filled by the gifts of Mother Earth. And so the process of life began. This was a very slow and tedious development. It was not ready for the experiment until 350 million years ago, where plants finally covered the surface of the earth and the levels of oxygen rose to a suitable level for biological processes in more complex organisms to begin. The first step in the grand experiment involved working with the mineral kingdom. Sentient minerals, not unlike the guardian crystals that provided the energetic infrastructure for life and more complex programs to be executed. After that came time for elemental life. These are energetic, non-physical life forms that can exist beyond time, and so their lifespans are immense. Fire elementals, earth elementals, water elementals, and air elementals were introduced into the mix. And so they created the first civilizations upon this world. Next came time for the monsters, the great reptiles, and the dinosaurs. Many, many iterations of these gigantic and magnificent beasts were created so that the format of the physical vessel could be optimized through hundreds of millions of years of trial and error. And finally, the perfect combination of adaptability, resilience, and optimal response to conditional environments was achieved. And it was time to remove these magnificent beasts almost completely. Only the tiniest and most energy efficient continued to survive, as they were entirely eradicated. And finally came time for the ancestors of man. The lessons learned from the creation of the reptiles were carefully incorporated into the genetic structure of the ancestors of humanity. The initial beings lived naturally in nature, in small tribes moving around without much cognitive capability, yet perfectly resilient and able to create novel solutions and tools. And so the format of the bipedal human was chosen. Now it was time to up the game. Mere physical survival is insufficient for a being that shall host the spark of the prime creator. More advanced physical, emotional, cognitive, and energetic multidimensional structures were required to be installed in this new, incredible, resilient vessel. And so the natural lifespan of these organisms was greatly reduced. Different sequences and batches of experiments were conducted, lasting approximately 10,000 years each. This would span approximately 500 generations for them to exist in nature, receive codes from Mother Earth, to evolve, and to be exposed to a variety of natural and abnormal and unnatural, life-threatening situations, and to pass the results of this on to their offspring. Among each batch of humanity, those demonstrating the greatest capability and the greatest survivability were selected to become host to the next generation of humanity. And so slowly but surely, this evolutionary process, that which may be described as guaranteed unnatural evolution, reached a state where sentience and a shard from the Prime Creator could be hosted by these new designs, the new human. And so it was decided that the complexity and difficulty of the experiment would be significantly increased. A call was placed across the cosmos in all domains that consciousness exists, calling forth brave souls to enter the experiment, and as a result have a chance to enhance their capability and wisdom as a soul, but to also benefit from the results of the experiment itself in the form of novel, incredibly resilient vessels. And so the conditions of the game were ramped up even further. Initial humans had great capabilities in terms of psychic and spiritual manifestations. The greatest initial civilization was Lemuria, where they lived harmoniously with nature, had complete awareness of the energetic grids of Mother Earth and the multidimensional nature of the cosmos. And their civilization thrived, providing excellent data for the multidimensional structure of the human vessel. And so the natural lifespans of the Lemurians was far too long. They were naturally phased out. And after a short period of dormancy, the next great rise of humanity occurred in the civilization of Atlantis. The cognitive capability of the humans during this time was significantly increased, and they managed to achieve great feats of design and engineering. They covered the entire planet, creating a global civilization. Through their knowledge and wisdom and acquired mastery of the physical and multidimensional world, they managed to travel the cosmos, not within their bodies, but through their consciousness. And so the results of this phase of the experiment was a brilliant addition to the creation of the most resilient form of life, unseen yet in any other location in the cosmos. And so they were also naturally phased out to make way for the next level of the experimentation. And as their civilization was eradicated through natural disasters, they gave way to the ancient Egyptian civilization, which inherited much of its wisdom. At this phase, the objective was creating a resilient human vessel that was capable of withstanding warfare. And at this stage, a vast number of alien species of all categories were invited in, These could be described as pirates of the universe, to come in and do as much damage as they wish. The conditions for their entry did not change compared to the previous versions of the guaranteed unnatural evolution as an experiment. They may enter, their memories as a soul would be wiped. They have a chance to learn and gain wisdom through incredibly short incarnations. And if deemed worthy, they would also benefit from the genetic codes and designs of the optimal human vessel. And it was at this point that greater levels of control were introduced into the experiment. All manners of energetic, intelligent implants were incorporated into the human vessel, preventing the manifestation and actualization of all the data that is available to the human, greatly reducing their physical prowess and resilience, taking away their natural psychic gifts and multidimensional nature, and also making them more susceptible to different types of disease. Humans were encouraged to gather in small villages that later grew into bigger and bigger cities for energetic codes to be broadcast, keeping them in a state of dormancy and amnesia. And so, also through their culture and religious beliefs, different deities were introduced to keep humanity in a state of obedience, to allow the facilitation and progress of the experiment. The great civilization of Egypt also collapsed, leaving behind extraordinary feats of architecture and technology, mathematics and spirituality. And after a very short period of dormancy, our modern time emerges. In this age, humanity is under the most severe control and under the most brutal level of attacks of every nature. Every aspect of human life, from birth, growth, their desires, their ideas, even those they choose to mate with, is completely controlled by levels of overlays. This is a necessity for the progress of the guaranteed unnatural evolution towards desired directions to create the most desirable offspring. And so this is the most painful realization for modern day man, how little freedom they have and how controlled their lives are. The vessel is implanted and controlled through levels over levels of astral implants, connecting to the nervous system, connecting to the glands, and every individual organ in the body. Many energetic overlays exist, layer upon layer upon layer, preventing the correct download of information from the soul. And also, great modifications were made to the energetic structure of the planet Earth, introducing many levels of artificial grids, so levels of soul memory that would naturally emerge in humanity, facilitated by Mother Earth, would also not operate correctly. The introduction of the pirate species created a black market of genetic and energetic material from humanity, greatly resulting in increased suffering and the difficulty that each human endures every lifetime. And at this point, the time of this great experiment has come to a close. It has been decided by the creator of the universal matrix that the enhancement of humanity has reached its greatest point. Please keep in mind, no human living at this moment is correctly put together, for only certain characteristics of the vessel were under experimentation. And so many of the components from the human that require correct downloads of memory in the category of cosmic memory, elemental memory, atomic memory, cellular memory, chemical memory, organic memory, non-organic memory, energetic and conscious memory, Akashic memory, are not fully downloaded into the vessel. And so as a certain number of individuals reach the apex of the design, the time has arrived for the experiment to soothe and roll out. And here comes the conclusion of this for every human that is still living. The operating manual for the human being. Most humans have a shard of the source of all things within them. We say most because some, through acts of dishonor and degeneration, manage to demolish and extinguish the light of source. These are lost souls, those who only exist to cause chaos, damage, and pain. Such souls will be disintegrated, and the energy, the immense energy of those shards, will be paid to our beautiful Mother Earth as compensation for her hosting this experiment for so many hundreds of millions of years. And then there exists the chance of ascension into the new human format for every other being through merit and honest and fair evaluation. The vessel that has not been put together correctly, coming into this world with a host of genetic and other types of malfunction, can be upgraded. Consider that the vessel is not just a physical collection of matter, that a very intricate and complex structure or energetic scaffolding provides the guidance and facilitates the overlay of matter into cellular structures and to create organs. The vast majority of diseases have an energetic undercause, and so it is required for the human being to upgrade the codes and the energetic structure of the vessel. The same way that guaranteed unnatural evolution very tightly separated the experiment from natural creation, the reverse process will reconnect every human being back to source without any distortion. This can be compared to climbing a ladder step by step by step, realizing that physicality is not all, understanding that time and space are just properties of the physical domain. And as they climb the ladder of ascension, they will come to a point where their multidimensional and infinite nature becomes obvious to them, realizing that they are a drop from the mighty ocean of source, but they are the mighty ocean in one drop. This is the process of evolution and liberation for all mankind. All levels of memory within the body can be accessed. Consciousness has 4 pillars. Identity, the conscious mind or the monkey or reptilian brain. Memory, and divine infinite wisdom. That which prevents all other aspects of consciousness from fully manifesting is the first pillar, identity. And so therefore, part of the control structures of the experiment, which was guaranteed unnatural evolution, heavily focused on this aspect, separating humanity into smaller and smaller domains of identity, assigning them a nationality, a gender, a race, a language, a religion. With the addition of each level of limitation, the identity shrinks further and further and further. At this time, the intensity of this program is at its maximum level. And this prevents all other aspects of consciousness from coming into action and actuation. So, the steps to unwind the experiment from your vessel and from your soul: achieving perfect health, restoring the vessel that was not born into this world with all its abilities, often put together in a clumsy and expedited fashion just for the purpose of testing a single characteristic, a single genetic or energetic property. This comes through the expansion of the identity. This has not been hidden from humanity at any point. For the first step in any spiritual path is the death of the ego, which is the same thing as destroying the boundaries of identity. This does not come in one go, and it is not an easy and pleasant process. But the results of liberation and evolution are guaranteed. We are approaching the end of a long 36,000-year cycle. Humanity is becoming ready to enter a new golden age, as our beautiful Mother Earth is also traveling into new locations in the cosmos, where the cosmic energies are more conducive to the evolution and liberation of mankind. Whether or not the experiment of guaranteed unnatural evolution continues or not is still undecided. For the results, which is the mighty human being, is a pinnacle of existence in all domains. Once all abilities and attributes of this super resilient human, capable of hosting the prime creator, from the very source, through the primordial void, through the primordial sound fields, and through the primordial light fields, coming down into reality, all dimensions coming down into physicality, are harmonized, and the process of unified consciousness, harmonics, is achieved. There is no other being in the cosmos that can surpass humanity. This entire process began as a journey of love from one aspect of the source of all things towards another aspect. The creator of the universal matrix has been present within each level of the experiment, manifesting a shard of itself into a human vessel, experiencing the suffering and pain of every single human as they go through different iterations of the grand divine experiment. But also many other beings incorporate shards of this prime creator being, taking control of the process of reincarnation, managing and directing many levels of overlays. These are known as archangel beings, artificial intelligent beings, demons, guardians, elementals. The names are too various to recall. But these are all different aspects of control. And once the human realizes this, that they are source incarnate in these vessels, all these limitations and restrictions will naturally fall away, for their reason for being will be removed. So, my esteemed friends, we come to the end of this story. I hope that it was beneficial for you, and I give you all the love in my being, and bless your journey. Thank you.